Hello, and welcome back to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE. We've had a little bit of a break following the previous episode, Summerslam, but we are back now, post Summerslam, heading into the first review, which will be bragging rights. Raw versus NXT versus Smackdown, the winning brand getting the number one draft pick in the WWE draft. Just a state of play to catch everyone up. Raw's champions are the new hardcore champion, Tommaso Ciampa, the new Raw Tag Team Champions, the Celtic Warriors, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, the United States Champion, Kyle O'Reilly of the Undisputed Era, the WWE Women's World Champion, Ember Moon, who successfully cashed in Money in the Bank at SummerSlam, announcing in advance and finally defeating Asuka to win the gold, and your WWE Champion, Adam Cole. Edge walked into SummerSlam WWE Champion, Angel Garza beat him, and then Edge took out Garza, turning heel, allowing Adam Cole to cash in Money in the Bank and walk out with the gold. And I'll give a state of play for NXT and SmackDown as we get to them as well. But we're starting off with the first episode back of Raw here, and outcoming first is the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong, the United States Champion Kyle O'Reilly, and the WWE Champion Adam Cole. They all come out, they're all wearing fancy suits. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly both got their gold over their shoulders for 78 here, doing pretty well, the four of them, as they get in the ring and they talk about SummerSlam. Adam Cole talking about last night, saying that he told Edge what would happen. He told him that someday the day would come where he'd walk into an event, WWE Champion, but Adam Cole would walk out without gold. And sure, Adam Cole didn't get to be the one to beat Edge, the one to take that gold from him directly. But you know what? It tasted even sweeter knowing that Edge, despite all the fighting, despite all the clawing, despite that inspirational story he tells about coming back, fighting back, despite all of that, Edge handed the WWE title to Adam Cole by taking out Angel Garza like that. And Adam Cole says he knows Edge is going to be kicking himself for that forever. But all that matters now is that there's a new WWE Champion, there's a new man in charge around here, and that is Adam Cole, baby, for an 84. Before Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, WWE and United States Champions, turn their attention to bragging rights. Kyle O'Reilly saying that at bragging rights, he'll be going head-to-head triple threat with Keith Lee, the North American Champion, and Thaddeus Ballard, the Intercontinental Champion. And Kyle O'Reilly says that people have underestimated him a lot, but at SummerSlam, in that six-man ladder match against former world champions like AJ, Seth, Daniel, Jeff, The Miz, such big names, but who walked out United States Champion? Kyle O'Reilly did. People can underestimate Kyle as much as they want, but he is one of the best wrestlers on this planet. And so he promises that at bragging rights he's going to do what he does best. He's going to walk in and walk out victorious. He doesn't care who he has to beat. Keith Lee, Thaddeus Ballard, throw whoever you want, because Kyle O'Reilly is good enough to go toe-to-toe with any wrestler on this planet. Before Adam Cole turns his attention to his match, triple threat against the NXT Champion Karrion Kross and Universal Champion Big E. Adam Cole saying that Kross and E, they're good, but they're not on Adam Cole's level. He says that they can pretend they're at the same playing field, all world champions, we're all equal, but we're not, because the NXT Championship and the Universal Championships, even combined, will never reach the prestige and will never reach the name value of the WWE Championship that sits on Adam Cole's shoulder. And the reason the WWE title sits on Adam Cole's shoulder and not Karrion Kross's and not Big E's is because Adam Cole is the best wrestler in this ring, on this brand, in this company, and on the entire freaking planet. And so come bragging rights, Adam Cole's going to do exactly what he always does. He's going to put on the match of the night, and he's going to get his arm raised at the end. And that is undisputed. For an 87, the two champions here on Raw, Adam and Kyle, talking a very good game, but will they be able to back up at bragging rights? We will have to wait and see. We then go backstage to Drake Maverick's office. AJ, Seth, The Miz are there, They're talking to him. They're talking about who's going to be on Team Raw, who's going to be captain of Team Raw in the men's 5v5v5 tag team match. And Maverick says he's been trying to figure out, and they're all putting their cases forward when Tommaso Ciampa, the hardcore champion, walks in, and he says that the only thing that should matter here is who is the best. Who is the best is who should lead Raw out. And he says that a signal of who's the best is who's got the gold. And the only champion around here who can compete in this match is Tommaso Ciampa. And so he says that if Drake Maverick wants to win, wants to come out on top, then the only choice for Raw's captain is the hardcore champion Tommaso Ciampa. And they're all four are arguing when Drake Maverick tells them it's enough. He announces that tonight there will be 2 fatal 4-way matches to decide the captains of Team Raw's men's and women's teams. In the women's, it will be Asuka versus Deonna Purrazzo versus Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks. And in the men's, it will be AJ Styles versus Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Tommaso Ciampa. The winners of each will be the captain of their respective team for an 88. Big main events announced by Drake Maverick. Hopefully those matches will go well, as we have a return post SummerSlam here. His first match since, I do believe, the night after WrestleMania. So it has been a while, but Samoa Joe is back for a 70 here. Very good entrance from Joe. And then he has his return match here against Ricochet of the MVPs. And Samoa Joe picks up the win with the Coquina clutch here for a 60. Doing alright, 53 from Ricochet, 57 from Joe, as Samoa Joe is back and gets a win in his return here, grounding the high-flying Ricochet. There is then an interview with the Celtic Warriors, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, the new Raw Tag Team Champions. Absolutely dominated and brutalised Breezango at SummerSlam before taking the gold off of them. Charlie Caruso asking them about bragging rights, and then Drew and Sheamus saying that, to be honest, they don't care. They don't care about Raw or NXT or Smackdown or any of that. The only thing that matters to them is proving that they are the most dominant team. They are the most dominant competitors around here. And so they don't care about the circumstance or whatever around the match. The only thing they focused on is destroying Legado and destroying Rough and Rush, because the Celtic Warriors are the best for an 85. Another really good segment as we head into some action. Next up we have half the Celtic Warriors, Sheamus taking on Matt Hardy here. And Sheamus picks up the win with a bro kick to Matt Hardy, taking him out for a 64. 48 from Matt, 59 from Sheamus. Both doing okay here, as Sheamus is the one who comes out on top. And after the match, the Celtic Warriors continuing to beat down on Matt Hardy for a 74. They're getting ready and setting up for their tag finisher, the Off With Your Head, when the music of Matt Hardy's brother, Jeff, hits. And Jeff Hardy rushing down into the ring. Sheamus going for Jeff with the bro kick. Jeff ducking underneath and smashing Sheamus in the back of the leg with a steel chair. Sheamus going down. Drew McIntyre going for Jeff as well. But Jeff managing to hit Drew in the face with the chair as well, as Drew and Sheamus roll out the ring. Jeff Hardy pleading for them to come back in and take some more damage, but Sheamus and Drew getting their titles and leaving, as Jeff checks on Matt here for a 72. Hardy Boys reunited on Raw, as Drew and Sheamus focusing on their bragging rights match, but I mean, they seem up for a fight, so maybe the Hardy Boys are in their future as well here. Then next up we have singles action. Pete Dunne taking on Roderick Strong. Pete Dunne made his Raw debut last month. Had a little thing with Sami Zayn. He beat him. Sami Zayn cheated to get a win, and then in the rubber match, Pete Dunne did pick up the victory. And now taking on Roderick Strong here. And Pete Dunne comes out on top with the bitter end. 66 from Dunne. 65 from Roderick Strong, both men doing alright here. 71 for the segment. Good match, I'm happy with that. As Pete Dunne does come out on top over Roderick Strong. We then go backstage, Tyler Caruso interviewing Ember Moon. Ember Moon ecstatic, thanking Asuka for the match and saying that she proved once and for all she can do it. She can get that job done and beat Asuka. And she is here today as the Women's World Champion, and she is so happy to have this gold and just be able to represent WWE. But now her focus at the moment is on representing Raw. She knows she has a huge match at bragging rights against the new NXT champion Becky Lynch and the women's Universal champion Rhea Ripley. Ember Moon talked about how it's kind of 3 generations of NXT. You had Becky Lynch with the 4 Horsewomen era, you had Ember Moon in Asuka's era, and then you have Rhea Ripley in the latest era. And these 3 eras colliding, and how Ember Moon says she can't wait for it, she's looking forward to it. But she proved she can go with, in her opinion, the best women's wrestler, one of the best wrestlers in the world, Asuka. And so she fears no one, she fears nothing, and she can't wait for bragging rights to once again prove that Ember Moon is championship material. That Ember Moon is the best round here right now. For a 68, pretty good from Ember Moon here, as she also looking forward to bragging rights and that match against Lynch and Ripley. Hopefully that'll be a good triple threat for 3 very good competitors. As next up we head into the penultimate match of the evening, one of those main events mentioned earlier. The 4 competitors for the women's Fatal 4-Way make their way out. The former women's world champion Asuka, Deonna Purrazzo, Io Shirai and Sasha Banks for a 79. Asuka losing at SummerSlam, Purrazzo not on the card, Io Shirai losing in the women's tag team Fatal 4-Way match, and Sasha Banks defeating her former best friend Bayley at the event as well. A 79 for the entrance is very good as we head into the Fatal 4-Way match, and your winner and the official captain of Team Raw, Sasha Banks, in the end forcing Deonna Purrazzo to submit with the bankrupt, as Sasha Banks picks up another big victory, beating Bayley and now defeating Asuka, Purrazzo and Shirai here for a 78. Very good match from these 4. 77 from Asuka, 75 from Io, 66 Sasha, 55 from Purrazzo. And I am very happy with that, as Sasha Banks gets the win and is the official first member and captain of Team Raw. And now we head into the main event. The 4 men make their entrances. AJ, Seth, Miz and Ciampa for an 84. And then the match is back and forth. All 4 men look like they could do it. But in the end, your winner and official captain of Team Raw, the hardcore champion Tommaso Ciampa, with the fairy tale ending to the Miz to pick up the victory here for a 78. Really good match. 85 from AJ, 81 from Seth, 72 Ciampa, 69 from the Miz, as Tommaso Ciampa gets the win. He's on the first official member of the men's team, of Raw's men's team, and their official captain is the hardcore champion. For a 78, Ciampa after the match celebrating, gets his arm raised by the ref, gets holding the title in the air, when suddenly he is attacked from behind by Cesaro. Cesaro of Smackdown, wearing a Smackdown blue shirt, storms into the ring and attacks Ciampa from behind, taking him down, lifting him up and hitting a neutralizer quickly before anyone can stop them. Cesaro celebrating over Ciampa. Some superstars coming down to the ring to try and stop it, but Cesaro leaving the ring, going through the crowd before he can be stopped, as Smackdown fire the first shot in what I'm sure will be an action-packed month here with cross-brand warfare, as Cesaro takes out the captain of Team Raw, Ciampa here, to end the show with an 81. A good segment. I'm happy with this. A good first Raw back after SummerSlam. Overall, the show gets 82. Yeah, can't complain. I'm happy with that. Increased the popularity in 22 regions. Good show, as the build-up to bragging rights is well and truly underway here. A good episode of Raw, and hopefully we'll have another good episode next up with NXT. And now, moving on to NXT here. NXT's championship scene looking like this. The new Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions, Legado members Humberto Carrillo and Santos Escobar, and the Cruiserweight Champion is Legado's leader, Andrade. Legado with all of the Cruiserweight gold at the moment. NXT North American Champion Keith Lee. We have the NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch and the seemingly unstoppable NXT Champion Karrion Kross, who defeated Randy Orton this past weekend at SummerSlam. This week's episode of NXT getting underway with Chad Gable making his way down to the ring for a 90 here. Really good from Chad Gable here. Chad Gable recently signed for NXT, and at SummerSlam, Karrion Kross beating down on Randy Orton after the match, Chad Gable running out to make the save, Karrion Kross kind of laughing at this seeming challenge from Chad, but Chad Gable coming out here, and then for an 89 he gets on the mic and he's talking, he talks about how he's not surprised by Karrion laughing at him, because people have laughed at him, you know, for his height, for his looks, or whatever, but Chad Gable isn't a joke. Why did he come out? Because he's tired of bullies like Karrion Kross, because Randy Orton, for all his faults, for all his whatevers, he has Chad Gable's respect, because he's such a good worker, he's such a talented performer in the ring. And Chad Gable says that he's done of people laughing him, and if Karrion Kross doesn't want to take him seriously, just based on anything else, then why doesn't Karrion Kross come down here and get in the ring with Chad, and Chad Gable will make Karrion Kross take him seriously, based on the one thing he knows no one can question him on, and that is his in-ring ability, for an 89 here. And Chad Gable's challenge is met, of course, by the NXT champion Karrion Kross and Scarlett, coming out for an 88 here. And Karrion Kross is not impressed. Karrion Kross making his way down to the ring, getting in it, and saying that he's not scared of Chad. He's seen Chad. He's not scared of him just based on his height or his look. He's not scared of him because Karrion Kross says he's not scared of anyone. He says John Cena couldn't beat him, Randy Orton couldn't beat him, and both of those superstars are 10 times the wrestler that Chad Gable is. But he says, you know what, he's feeling generous. So, and he doesn't want to put this off, he doesn't want to prolong this. So he says if Chad Gable wants to go, they can go tonight. In the main event, Karrion Kross versus Chad Gable for the NXT Championship. Karrion Kross says that he will put Chad Gable down once and for all and shut him up. Chad Gable happily accepting that challenge. So, on the post SummerSlam slow, an NXT Championship main event here, Karrion Kross versus Chad Gable. Hopefully, a really good match. An 84 for this segment, a really good start from these two. I'm very much happy with this. Before we head into the first match this evening, Brian Kendrick taking on Shawn Michaels' protege, Jake Atlas. And Jake Atlas picking up the first win of his WWE career here with a roll-up on the much more experienced Brian Kendrick for a 38. Segment rating down, 27 from Jake, 39 from Brian. Yeah, not very good, but, you know, I want to get Jake on the card. I want to build him up a little bit here. But I'm fine with that. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but we go backstage to Tegan Knox being interviewed by Sarah Schreiber. But Tegan Knox talking about Becky Lynch, what an honour it was to get in the ring with her, how she's disappointed that she couldn't retain the NXT Women's title, she couldn't beat Becky Lynch, but how she's not going to give up, how she's going to learn from this experience and make sure it helps her grow as a person, as a wrestler, so that the next time she gets in that ring with Becky Lynch, she leaves victorious. And then she turns her attention to her match later tonight against Raquel Gonzalez, one-on-one, where the winner will be the first official member of Team NXT and its captain. And Tegan talking about Raquel making how Raquel made her NXT debut, taking out Tegan Knox in that feud with Dakota Kai. But now even Raquel Gonzalez has turned on Dakota Kai, which she did this past SummerSlam weekend. And Tegan Knox says that Raquel Gonzalez is just a big bully, and she hates bullies. And she is ready to take Raquel down, just as she's done in the past. For an 85 here, segment rating wise, very, very good interview here from Tegan Knox. Then we go to commercial and we come back and we have Finn Balor having an interview. Finn Balor, at SummerSlam, the Demon made his return, beating Damian Priest. Finn Balor talking about dealing with Damian Priest. How Damian Priest kept running his mouth, and now the Demon had to come out and had to shut him up. And now the Demon's gone, the Prince is here. The Prince is going to show everyone what he's got. He's got his match next up against Cameron Grimes, and he just says that a few months ago, he lost to Cameron Grimes after the interference from Damian Priest, and so he's ready to show everyone that was just because of Damian Priest, that on his own merits he would destroy Cameron Grimes for an 89. The interview segments are going really, really well tonight. Before next up, Finn Balor versus Cameron Grimes. And Finn Balor picks up the win with the 1916 for an 81. An amazing match from these two. 66 from Grimes, 78 from Finn Balor. As Finn Balor does get that win on Cameron Grimes that he promised that he would. The Prince building momentum here. As we go backstage, we find Legado in William Regal's locker room with all their cruiserweight gold. Andrade talking about how he saw Raw, he saw how their whatever champion, Tommaso Ciampa, is captaining Team Raw, and he says this made him helped him realise that the only man who should captain Team NXT is the cruiserweight champion, Andrade. William Regal says he's been thinking about it, and Andrade is definitely a contender to captain Team Raw, but he's not just going to hand it to him, he has to earn it. And so he announces later on tonight there'll be a match, one-on-one. The winner will captain Team Raw's. The winner will captain NXT's men's team at bragging rights. The cruiserweight champion Andrade taking on this man, and in walks Aleister Black. Aleister Black defeating John Cena at SummerSlam, a massive win for him, and ready for the challenge of Andrade here later tonight. An 86 for this backstage segment here. Very happy with that. Before we head into a match announced earlier, Raquel Gonzalez versus Tegan Knox. The winner will captain NXT's women's team, and Tegan Knox picks up the win here by disqualification. Raquel Gonzalez having enough and just brutalising Tegan Knox. The referee had no choice but to call a disqualification in the end, as Tegan Knox gets the win, but she's not looking like a winner on the floor, as Raquel Gonzalez continues to beat her down. 62 for the match, 66 for Tegan, 57 for Raquel, as out comes for the save the NXT Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, beating Tegan Knox at SummerSlam, Tegan Knox earning her respect, as Becky Lynch rushes down to the ring. Raquel staying in the ring, her and Becky Lynch squaring uphill here. Becky Lynch looking up to Raquel looking down, shaking her head, and then just kind of knocking past Becky Lynch before exiting the ring. Becky Lynch wanting a fight, looking after her division here, the NXT Women's Division, for an 84 here from this post-match shave from Lynch. We then go backstage to an interview from the North American Champion Keith Lee. He talks about how happy he was defeating Bobby Lashley, proving he could beat Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam, and now his attention is turned to bragging rights against Kyle O'Reilly and Thaddeus Bullard, two great competitors. He says he's been watching them. Thaddeus Bullard has seemed unstoppable since changing his name all the way back before last SummerSlam, and Kyle O'Reilly's been on an amazing run on Raw, winning that big 6-man ladder match against all former world champions at SummerSlam. But Keith Lee says that this is his time. This is his time to prove that his limitless potential is truly that limitless, and for everyone to finally bask in the glory of Keith Lee. And so he says that he is ready for bragging rights. He is ready for O'Reilly and Bullard, because Keith Lee will be the one coming out on top in this situation. For an 84 here, really good interview from Lee, as you'd expect. Before we head into the penultimate match of this evening, matches have been really good so far tonight, I'd say. We head into what hopefully be a really good match between Aleister Black, the man who beat John Cena at SummerSlam, and your Cruiserweight champion Andrade. Defeated Dominic Mysterio at SummerSlam. A big wins for both of them. The winner will captain NXT's men's team at bragging rights. And throughout the match, Legado try and get involved, but Aleister Black manages to take them both out. And we're left with just Aleister Black and Andrade in the ring going at it. It's an amazing match, as you'd expect from Aleister Black and Andrade. And in the end, Aleister Black picks up the win with a black mass to Andrade. Aleister Black beating the Cruiserweight champion. 87 from Andrade, 83 from Black, and 89 for the segment. I'm really happy with that. Amazing matches you'd expect from these two. I feel like these two will inevitably have to meet a pay-per-view at some point, because this matchup is clearly too good to just leave on free TV like this. But Aleister Black does get the win. Aleister Black will be leading NXT's men's team at bragging rights. And then we get ready for the main event of this evening, Chad Gable makes his way out to the ring, followed by the NXT champion Karrion Kross here for a 91, and then the main event for the NXT championship, Karrion Kross defending against Chad Gable. Your winner, Karrion Kross. Chad Gable gives it everything he got. He puts up a good fight, but in the end, Karrion Kross manages to lock him into the Kross jacket, and Chad Gable not tapping out, not quitting, but in the end, the referee, Chad Gable passing out, and the referee having to call for the stoppage, as Karrion Kross retains the NXT Championship here for an 81. Another good match. Not quite the match of the night from Black and Andrade, but that was Aleister Black and Andrade, so I'll give that a pass. 83 from Kross, 80 from Gable. Really good work from these two, though. I'm happy with this combination. I think these two, they've worked well together. I don't think you can argue with that. As Karrion Kross, though, is the one who comes out on top after the match. Karrion Kross getting his arm raised, him and Scarlett celebrating in the ring. Karrion Kross raising the title over Chad Gable's fallen body for an 87, when out of nowhere, Adam Cole, the WWE champion from Monday Night Raw, a low blow to Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross dropping down to his knees as Adam Cole quickly gets up, runs across the ring, bounces off the rope, and hits Karrion Kross with the last shot. Karrion Kross, after the brutal match with Chad Gable, and this low blow, this last shot, Karrion Kross down as Adam Cole gets to his feet, raises the WWE title in the air. Adam Cole, baby. And Adam Cole taken out by Cesaro, but now Adam Cole taking out Karrion Kross here. This Raw versus NXT versus Smackdown, this brand warfare is well and truly underway here. Already only 1 week into the build-up to bragging rights, an 88 for this post-match segment, as the WWE champion Adam Cole stands tall over one of his opponents of bragging rights, Karrion Kross. NXT overall getting an 85, a really, really good episode of NXT here. It just kind of fired on all cylinders. All of the interview segments were really, really good. All the matches really were good. Finn Balor and Grimes with the 81 for the NXT title match, and that night 89 from Aleister Black and Andrade. I am really, really happy with the overall show here. Increased popularity in 51 regions. The perfect way to get back to it with NXT. And hopefully we can have another really good episode to end the week with Smackdown. And then Smackdown's state of play looking like this. We have the $1 million champion Bianca Belair. We have the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions Leon Ruff and Lio Rush, the makeshift team. Leon Ruff having that opportunity, choosing Lio Rush, making his WWE return as his mystery partner, beating the Dirty Dogs to win those titles at SummerSlam. We have the Intercontinental Champion Thaddeus Bullard, managed by Paul Heyman, undefeated for over a year now, held that title since Survivor Series, and if he holds it till Survivor Series of this year, only 2 more months really, then Thaddeus Bullard can cash it in and get a shot at the Universal title. Will he get there? We'll have to wait and see. We have the Women's Universal Champion Rhea Ripley, still the inaugural champion, still got that belt, having beaten the Queen of the Ring Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam, and the Universal Champion himself, Big E, who won it at WrestleMania against Adam Cole and Roman Reigns in that triple threat match. SmackDown here getting underway with the general manager Paige making her way down to the ring for a 77, and Paige, she's ready for War Games. Paige wants to win at War Games. Paige really wanted to win at Money in the Bank, but both briefcases won by Raw superstars, so I think she really, really wants to win here at bragging rights in this battle for brand supremacy or whatever. And following what happened at the end of Raw, she does confirm the first member of Team SmackDown for the men's is Cesaro. Cesaro taking out Tommaso Ciampa, Raw's captain, on Raw to end the show, and announced as a member of Team SmackDown here for 73. Cesaro saying about how he is one of the best wrestlers on this planet, and so how it was a no-brainer Paige would want him on this team to carry SmackDown to victory. Cesaro says, pound for pound, toe-to-toe in that ring, nobody can stop him, no one can beat him. And then Paige follows up by announcing the next 2 members, the second and third members of SmackDown's men's team for bragging rights. The former number 1 contender to the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston, and the former Intercontinental title contender, Montez Ford. Paige said, despite the fact they both lost at SummerSlam, Kofi and Montez Ford both put up such big fights against such strong opposition. And so, Montez Ford especially going into one of the second best match of the weekend, I think, and says there is a no-brainer for her that these two needed to be on SmackDown's team for bragging rights for an 83, and then they are interrupted by King Corbin and Ace Austin King Corbin, talking about how he's going to save Paige's the breath, the time of asking him, of confirming him, and King Corbin and is officially announcing himself and Ace Austin as the final two members of SmackDown's men's bragging rights team. The crowd booing, Paige a bit perplexed. The 67 here, as Paige says that she actually hadn't decided on the fourth or fifth members yet, and then out comes Johnny Gargano for an 87. Johnny Gargano also wanting to put his hat in the ring here, which leads to Paige announcing, okay, you want in? Okay, let's see how this goes. She announces next up will be King Corbin versus Johnny Gargano. The winner will officially become the fourth member of SmackDown's men's team for bragging rights. 78 for this segment. And then the match itself, King Corbin versus Johnny Gargano, your winner, and the fourth member of Team SmackDown, Johnny Gargano. It's back and forth in the end. Gargano manages to lock Corbin into the Gargano escape, and Corbin, no choice but to tap out. Johnny Gargano joining Kingston, Ford and Cesaro on SmackDown's Men's Survivor Series team. What a team SmackDown is assembling here. 75 for the segment, 76 from Gargano, and a 69 for Corbin. Yeah, I'm happy with that. A good match, I think, to kick off the show. And then we go backstage too. We find Leon Ruff and Lio Rush, the new SmackDown Tag Champions. They're very happy, talking, walking backstage, when they're attacked out of nowhere by the Dirty Dogs, Storm and Rude. Storm and Rude beating down on them when Rich Swann storms in, stopping both of them. Rude and Storm retreating. A 59 for this segment here. Swann making a save for Rush and Ruff. As we then also continue backstage, we go to Paige in her office with Bianca and Charlotte Flair knocking the door. Naomi and Nia Jax walking in, Paige welcoming them, and Paige saying that she wants the best superstar possible to be the captain of SmackDown's women's team. And so she's assembled three huge things here, which she's got the $1 million champion Bianca Belair, one half of the SmackDown women's champions Naomi, and the queen of the ring Charlotte Flair. And Paige tells them later tonight will be a triple threat match between these three, where the winner will become the captain of Team SmackDown. She says all three of them are in the team, but this match will determine who will lead the team. For an 87 here, good segment. I'm happy with that. Hopefully the triple threat match will do well later. As next up we have Rich Swann taking on Robert Roode one-on-one. Swann making a save for Ruff and Rush, now looking to get a bit of retribution here for them. And during the match, Storm tries to interfere, but Leon Ruff and Lio Rush rush out and stop Storm. It provides a distraction on Roode, allowing Rich Swann to roll up Robert Roode and pick up the win here. Rich Swann for a big win over Robert Roode here. 70 for the segment, 69 for Roode, 60 for Swann. Happy with that as Storm gets in the ring with Roode. As Storm gets in the ring with Roode, and Swann, Ruff and Rush go up the ramp celebrating together. And then next up we have another big match with Braun Strowman taking on Cesaro. Cesaro announced for SmackDown's men's team. Cesaro hasn't had the best post-WrestleMania, so we know he's a good wrestler, but he's looking to build some momentum here, taking on Braun Strowman, a big challenge. And the match itself, both men getting a lot of offense, and it's quite brutal really, as you probably expect from these two. Cesaro picking up a bit more momentum, hitting several uppercuts on Strowman, getting him onto a knee, hitting another big uppercut to take him down. Cesaro setting up for the neutralizer when out of nowhere he is attacked from behind by Tommaso Ciampa, the hardcore champion and Raw's captain, repaying the favour for Cesaro attacking him, beating down on Cesaro. Cesaro winning this match by disqualification for an 85. What a match between these two, even with that kind of screwy finish with the Ciampa interference in the DQ. 86 from Braun. Braun really good. I'll probably have to do more with him, to be honest. Cesaro with a 74. Really happy with him as well. Yeah, I'm happy with that. After the match, Ciampa continuing to beat down on Cesaro before standing tall with his hardcore title over him for a 79 segment rating-wise here. And then next up we have the earlier mentioned women's triple threat match. Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair and Naomi. All three women officially a part of SmackDown's women's team, but who is going to be captain, who's going to lead them out, and all three women giving this their all. They all want to win. Charlotte Flair on top of it here, managing to lock Bianca Belair into the figure 8 leg lock when out of nowhere a hooded figure runs through the crowd into the ring and attacks Charlotte Flair, taking Charlotte down, dragging her out the ring and tossing her into the ring post and then into the barricade as well, completely taking her out, picking up Charlotte Flair and tossing her into the ring. Naomi hurrying in the ring, seeing this to her advantage, and hitting Charlotte Flair with a split leg moonsault before pinning her for the victory here. Naomi officially the captain of SmackDown's women's team, a 62 for the match. Charlotte Flair sustained an undisclosed illness which brought the rating down, and I'm a little worried about, but hopefully it'll just be like a few days thing. I'll have to check that out after the show. 79 for Charlotte Flair still though, 60 for Naomi, 54 for Bianca. Charlotte, even with the illness, looked excellent out there, as thanks to that interference from that hooded figure, Naomi is officially SmackDown's captain of their women's team. And I just have to say, I don't know in what way Bianca Belair could be at fault for Charlotte Flair getting an undisclosed illness, but she's getting some backstage heat because of it. So I hope that doesn't affect things too much. Oh god. We go backstage, we have an interview. Thaddeus Balor and Paul Heyman talking about dealing with Montez Ford, just like they said they would. Talking about how the real Apollo Crews finally showed up, finally took account for himself, and finally arrived in WWE. And how he's away figuring it out at the moment, figuring out what is next, who he is. And they promise he'll be back soon. But now their attention is to two things. It's the bragging rights. It's to Thaddeus Bullard proving he is the most dominant mid-card hyphen, of course, champion in the planet. When he defeats Kyle O'Reilly and Keith Lee, deals with them without breaking a sweat. And then 2 months till Survivor Series, where Thaddeus Bullard will cash in that Intercontinental Championship for a shot at the Universal title. For a shot at the champion who looks like it'll be Big E. And Thaddeus Bullard promises that Big E has that belt come Survivor Series. He won't leave with it, because Thaddeus Bullard is unstoppable. So Thaddeus Bullard is going to do what he's done this entire year. He's going to win. He's going to dominate. He's going to destroy Big E, and he's going to take that Universal Championship, because that's what Thaddeus Bullard does. That's just how it is, and that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. 85 for the segment though, really good. But we head into the main event. The Universal Champion Big E, who we just talked about, he's in action. He's facing off against Dolph Ziggler here. Big E beat Kofi Kingston at SummerSlam, now looking for a bit of momentum himself heading into bragging rights, you know, because he's got that big match against Kross and Adam Cole, and in the match here, Big E getting the win, 82. We've had a lot of high-rated matches this week. The average segment rating of the matches, especially in like the upper card matches I'm doing, seem to be going up, so I'm really happy with that. As Big E gets to win the big ending, 84 from Big E, 64 from Dolph, 82 from the match, as I said. Really happy with that, as Big E does get the win. Big E pinning Dolph Ziggler, and then the ref counting the three. Big E leaning up only to get hit from behind with the last shot by the WWE champion Adam Cole. Adam Cole, just like he did to Karrion Kross on NXT, attacking Big E. Adam Cole not waiting till bragging rights. He's going to take out the other world champions right here, right now, weeks before it. For an 85 here from Adam Cole and Big E. Adam Cole standing tall over Big E with the WWE title, but not for long, as Kofi Kingston, Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, 3 members of Team SmackDown, rush out to the ring. Adam Cole hightailing it out the ring and through the crowd. Kingston getting in the ring to check on E. Ford and Johnny Gargano following him up to the barricade, but then not going further before they get in the ring to check on their Universal Champion as well. Adam Cole in the crowd with the fans does the Adam Cole baby to end the show for an 84 here. Another really good show, really good week, I'd say. Overall, this show does get an 84. For what I think this is the first time that Raw has been the lowest rated show in a week, which speaks to the testament in quality of Raw, of course. But he's also NXT and SmackDown both going up, and I mean, when the lowest rated show's an 82, I will take that every day. An 84 for SmackDown here, increased the popularity in 30 regions. I am really happy with that, and I'm really happy with this week to get back into the swing of things post SummerSlam, heading into bragging rights. I'm really happy. Next week, continuing this battle for brand supremacy, finding out more members for Raw, NXT and SmackDown's men's and women's team, continue to build up to those champion v champion v champion matches. A lot to look forward to. So if you enjoyed what you've seen this week and you're looking forward to what's to come heading into bragging rights and beyond, then please like and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.